It says live. I have to believe it. I must be live. So here it is, and I've got things to rant about, but I'm gonna try and make this civil. I want to rant. Here comes rant. There, I'm done ranting. Here we go. I want to talk about President Lyndon Johnson and his Great Society. We're all suffering from it, okay? What this guy did has left indelible scars on our country. People are dying because of LBJ. That old bastard's been dead for how many decades? And the damage of his Great Society continues. He fired the opening volley. President Kennedy had been assassinated. Johnson took over. And from 64 to 68, this man ran roughshod on us. His readjustment of the social order wasn't just a ripple. It was a tsunami. It was a flood. And it was for the worst. I don't know where to even begin telling you. Let me calm down the rhetoric and get into it here. LBJ, for those who don't know, was Lyndon Baines Johnson. And he was working very closely, it was obvious, under orders from his friends in Russia. His assignment? Fracture our society, find a way to destabilize the United States so that the USSR would have a chance at taking over. That's what it was all about. That was Alexei Kosygin. Hell, he rode Johnson like a rented mule, okay? Johnson did whatever he said. Kosygin said, do this. He did that. Well, his way of doing it in a horrible way was for LBJ to deliberately fracture Negroid and Non-Negroid relations, black and non-black. If he could get those two powerful sects against each other, he'd be in great shape. And again, Kosygin smiled and whipped him like a rented mule. Well, to Kosygin, LBJ was a good soldier, and he brought down America from within as ordered and almost completely destroyed this country. You understand, it was LBJ who invented every one of those welfare programs that shot us into the toilet. Let me go over some of this. First of all, we know that his Great Society was built by rewarding Negroes and punishing non-Negroes. Here's where the welfare state was born, and along with that, resentment. As soon as this welfare state worked so hard to bring the blacks up to a higher level, establishing basically Negro-only policies in so many areas, all this did was create resentment. People, this is a war. His Great Society, that was the opening shots of a war, a domestic conflict that had begun and still is. The once noble Negro culture was noble. It was destroyed and reshaped into a monster. The results, after the decades and decades of keeping whites and blacks at each other's throats and keeping the black man down by helping him up, what do you have? You've got violent crime, drug abuse, illiteracy, all rooted deep into the Negro culture. Now, all this, it's not their fault. Master manipulators took generations to reshape their society and to destroy the once great culture of the Negro. In order to cater to the Great Society, there had to be new laws. There had to be protection. Protection afforded to one side, denied to the other. So protectionist legislation today, such as hate crime laws, they continue to stir resentment among non-Negroes because, frankly, it's pretty much impossible to commit a hate crime against a non-Negro, a non-black. Unique federal Negroes-only policies and programs, they further fuel this growing social unrest. And communism, then the Russians, now the Chinese, very happy about it. We're sitting here now in the 21st century, long after LBJ's death, And we still have this systemic pro-Negro bigotry. Yes, from hiring to criminal justice, in this country today, it's all about the color of their skin. Dr. Martin Luther King must be rolling over in his grave right now because he felt that the color of a man's skin should have no bearing on what you do with, or trust him with, train him to be, or live with him as. And then, of course, in this modern age with Russia having bit the bullet back in 91, China has helped with the creation of the Uyghur. Now, that is a non-black person who wishes they were black, a white person who wishes he was Negro and is so ashamed of his color. You understand, this is aided because the communists own the mainstream press. They own it. They control it. They write the script. They sing the songs. And all of this manipulation since 1964, all the way up to 2025, has completely rewritten the basic programming of the American Negro. Here are some really frightening stats that come from the National Crime Information Center. Try this one. The leading cause of death among Negroes between age 6 and 60 is black-on-black crime. That's right. The leading cause of death to these people is these people. How about this part? Modern Negro society is largely bigoted, heavily anti-white, anti-Asian, very prejudiced, and largely anti-Semitic. Ever since LBJ's Great Society, this country's economy and culture has been in a state of freefall. You can hear it then, waiting for that at the end. The Great Society, it abhors work. It abhors an honest day's wages. It abhors mutual respect. It abhors honesty. The American Negro culture today has been so polluted, so reorganized, it's nothing at all like the great culture they once had. Race-specific welfare, affirmative action, prejudicial programs, these things are driving a wedge deeper and deeper between Negro and non-Negro in America. Does it suck? Hell yeah, it sucks. Come on, man. I mean, the Negro society today has reverted to what I call jungle rules. Most Negro babies born today will never know their father. Over 83% of violent prison inmates are Negroes. Negroes are far more likely to suffer drug overdose, illiteracy, obesity, violent death. More than 80% of Negroes aged 6 to 60, this is going to kill you now, 80%, more than 80%, are now, have been, or will be in the system. That's jail, prison, parole, probation. That's a horrible statistic, but according to NCIC, it's true. I hold hope, there is hope for a dialogue between Negro and non-Negro factions if they're only both willing to embrace true equality. You have bigotry on both sides of the aisle. Anti-white bigotry, anti-black bigotry, but it's there. If this government, this administration today, will just approach everyone with the same set of standards, the same expectations, this quiet race war, and it's not that quiet, could end peacefully. Lyndon Baines Johnson, may you continue to burn in the hell that you so richly deserve.